What's up, everyone? This is Emily, aka MHags Art, back with another bullet journal setup. Today I'll be setting up February 2021, and my theme for the month is one of my favorite Disney movies, Tangled. So let's jump right in. I drew Rapunzel's tower with her long magical hair flowing out the window. And my color scheme for the month is inspired by the purple, pink, and yellow color palette throughout the movie. And I use my Crayola Super Tips to color it all in. And for my quote page, I chose a lyric from the love song in the movie, one of my favorite Disney love songs, At Last I See the Light, and it's like the fog has lifted. I finished the pages off with some Tangled themed scrapbook paper I had. I'm super happy with how this cover page and quote page turned out. I think they're super cute and pretty. Next is my important dates page in my media tracker. I always draw my monthly calendar as a list because it's just so much easier and quicker, honestly. And I like to include a media tracker in my monthly spreads, so when I look back, I can see what I was watching and all that. It's just fun to see. For the headers this month, I was inspired by the bunting in the movie from like the castle town scenes or whatever. And speaking of the sun symbol, I had to include a few, and I wanted to have like an almost watercolor type look to it, so I went over the yellow with like a darker orangey yellow just to add some darker details, and I think it adds a great pop of color to these pages and it makes it look super cheerful. Next is my habit tracker and my mood tracker. My habit tracker is pretty straightforward as always. I use this monthly calendar stamp from Sniggle Sloth on Etsy. Then the real focus of these pages is my mood tracker, which I went all out for, as you're about to see. I couldn't do a Tangled theme without paying homage to the iconic boat scene, so I drew a bunch of lanterns, and I'll color each one a different yellow depending on my mood for that day. Then I drew Rapunzel and Eugene, aka Flynn Rider, in their boat holding a lantern. It's funny because when Tangled first came out, I kind of thought it was a weird concept. Like, why would I want to watch a movie about a girl with like 50-foot long hair? Also, you probably just saw a guest appearance by my cat Edison. But anyway, so yeah, I was like, this just seems like a weird movie. But of course, like Rapunzel is a very old folktale, I guess. But anyway, so I watched it for the first time in college with some friends, and I actually thought it was super cute. So I was like, oh, I shouldn't have judged this movie so hard. It actually has become one of my favorites over the years, and I've fallen more and more in love with the music. And yeah, so it just brings me a lot of comfort whenever I watch it. So again, I decided to go all out and color the entire background for this page. I don't hate how it turned out, but I'm also not totally happy with it either. Part of me wishes I had just painted the background with watercolors instead of using markers. I thought markers would be faster, but honestly, it still ended up taking me a long time to color it all in. But I'm hoping it'll look pretty once I color all the lanterns in at the end of the month. And I also felt like it was still missing something, so I added some stars in with my Posca paint pen, and I do think it helped a little bit, like adding some depth to the background. Next is my weekly spreads, and I decided to do a Dutch door setup. So I cut a Dutch door for each week so you can see the cute Rapunzel paper on each spread. And I leave enough space for each day to have its own to-do list and a master to-do list for the week. And I do the same setup for each week. To save some time, but still add a cute design element, I tore more of my Tangled themed scrapbook paper and just made it a border for these pages. I thought this paper was perfect because she's holding her journal, which she likes to draw and paint in. And this is my bullet journal where I like to be artistic as well, so I just thought it was like a cute connection. Then on the back of my weeklies, I made my monthly goals, gratitude, and another to-do list where I can just write down general things I need to get done this month. Lastly, I always like to include a monthly review page, so I made it a little more interesting by drawing another sun with the same watercolor type effect using the darker yellow marker to add some dimension and detail. Next is a page I plan on including in all of my months this year, which is a favorites page, I'm calling it. So basically just like all my favorite things about either the TV show or movie that is the theme for that month. So for this month's theme for Tangled, I wanted to include my favorite characters, which are of course Rapunzel, Eugene, and then Varian and Lance, who are from the animated series. If you have not watched it and you are a fan of the Tangled movie, I highly recommend the show. The entire series is on Disney Plus if you feel like watching it. 2 of the songs that I wrote are also from the show. And I really wanted to draw this moment from the movie, which I thought was super cute, with Rapunzel and Eugene holding cupcakes. So I drew it with pencil first, and I went over the sketch with my fine liner. And then I was brave, and I used watercolor for the very first time in my bullet journal. It was a little scary, but I love using watercolor. It's one of my favorite mediums. So once I got a 160 GSM notebook, I knew I would want to start trying to use watercolor in my bullet journals. Then to add a little shading, I went over some areas with my colored pencils, and I really think this helped add more depth and contrast, especially in the background. So this painting is also kind of serves as a little quote page. My favorite quote from the movie is when Rapunzel asks, "What if it's not everything I dreamed it would be?" And Eugene says, "It will be." Then she says, "Well, what if it is? What do I do then?" And Eugene tells her, "Well, that's the good part, I guess. You get to go find a new dream." And I love this quote because it reminds us that it's okay if your dreams change. It doesn't mean you've given up or have nothing else to live for. You can always go find a new dream. Anyway, I'm super happy with how this painting turned out. I think it's so cute, and I'm happy it's in my journal. Here's the final flip through for February 2021. The main reason I wanted to do a Tangled theme was because February just makes me think of Valentine's Day and, romance and everything. And I had recently finished the Tangled TV show on Disney Plus. So because of that, it was kind of fresh in my mind, and Rapunzel and Eugene are probably my favorite Disney couple now. They're just so cute together. And honestly, I was really impressed with how well this paper stood up to the watercolors. This is a Amanda Rach Lee bullet journal. And I actually used a pretty decent amount of water, so there was only a little buckling of the paper, no bleed through. So I will definitely be using watercolors in my bullet journal again. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me do my Tangled theme February 2021 setup. If you did, don't forget to subscribe because I will be posting a setup video every month, and all my themes this year will be inspired by my favorite TV shows and movies. And if you like animation as much as I do, you might be excited to hear that March's theme will be Steven Universe. Yay! So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.